Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. I'm Mark Goldbridge, still out here in Mallorca. Beautiful background for you. Maybe not a beautiful topic for you. We're here to talk about Mason Greenwood. Obviously I was fully aware yesterday of what happened and the developing story, and I think ultimately you've got to come from this with a mature approach. I don't respect or agree with those people that want him back, but ultimately it's not a falling out point for me. If for you feel that innocent and all that innocent till proven guilty, or what's happened isn't that deep, you just want a goal scorer playing for Manchester United, that's up to you. But you've also got to try and understand the massive implications around this for those people who don't want him back. I think that, look, if you want to talk legally, innocent until proven guilty, the guy's innocent. The legal system of the UK, look, I've said this before, if I'm out last night in a bar and I punch someone in the face and then the next day they don't complain to the police and I don't get locked up, did I punch them in the face? Yes. Did I get found guilty? No, because it never went to court. So we can get into the legal ramifications, which I see people arguing about, but it really saddens me actually how people are getting quite abusive about this. I saw Beth's reaction on the United Stand last night, and some of the abuse is ridiculous. I think it tells a lot about the people who are abusive about this in relation to their ability to actually empathise and understand people's different views. I actually don't agree with it, but I actually understand those people who want Mason Greenwood back because they want somebody to score goals, and that's the be all and end all for them. They don't really think what he's accused of doing, not even accused, suspected of doing, let's be honest, it's not going to court, it's not that deep for them. So I get that, but what I don't get is the people who abuse those people who don't want him back. Now my stance is this, and I'm not going to mess about this. My stance is I don't want him back in a Man United shirt. I've spoken to quite a lot of people over the last few weeks. My business head, if I was Manchester United, I thought the logical thing they should have done very, very quickly was get him out on loan. Get him out on loan at the start of July. Move very, very. Because look, that's not my choice. That's not Mark Goldbridge as CEO of Manchester United. That's what I expected Manchester United to do. I thought that effectively they wouldn't want to lose a player with 2 years left on his contract for nothing. So the logical thing from a business point of view was to send him off on loan very, very quickly and just see what happens in a year. If he's scoring goals in Italy or Turkey, time can be, look, I don't like this word, it's insensitive, but time can be a great healer, and I think that's why I expected United to do. The fact that United have been briefing that they're looking to bring him back is massively, massively, massively insulting to so many. And I said yesterday, I think Richard Arnold should be losing his job over this, and I do. I think it's such a serious topic. This is not about signing Benjamin Pavard as a right back. This is about the return of a player who is suspected of some very serious offences. And that's where I'm going to bring my point in here. If at some point we'd had a statement or a news article from the victim saying that the pictures and the audio were fake and I did them to try and get him in trouble, then that puts a completely different reflection on this story. We've never had that. We've never had that. And surely if that was the case, that would have come out very, very quickly because it changes the story. What we had was a statement from Mason Greenwood's team a few months ago saying he wants to move on from it and rebuild. That is not, I didn't do it, and we have never had anybody come out and say he didn't do it. Now, I'll be honest, if somebody came out, if there was an article with the victim saying it never happened, I faked the audio and I faked the pictures, you might think they're being paid off to do that, but ultimately you'd have nowhere to go. You'd have to go, well, look, that's that. But the reality is that's not happened. That hasn't happened. So we're left in a position where the case got dropped, the audio's still there, the pictures are still there, and personally, morally, I'm just not comfortable with that. Football's massively important to me, and it's massively important to many people, but it's not that important. And people say, well, when he starts scoring goals, this will dilute itself. Sadly, I think people are probably right. And I can't speak how I'm going to feel in 6 months' time, but if he wears a Man United shirt this season and scores a goal, I would like to think I will not celebrate it, and I would like to say goal to Man United and move on. That's what I would like to think will happen. I can't speak for myself, so I can't speak for everybody else. But look, I think that this is a very serious topic. But for those people telling people to move on, I've spoken to victims of abuse. I'm fully aware of what happens with victims of abuse. Unfortunately, the statistics are there. There's a lot of people who get abused and go back to the person who did it. It's factual. I'm sorry about that. there's also a lot of people who get abused and it never happens again. So I'm not here to start giving you statistics on victims of abuse or alleged abuse. All I'm here to say is that everyone's got an opinion on this, and it's a very serious opinion. And look, if you want Mason Greenwood back, I'm not here to argue with you, and I'm not here to convince you, but don't try and convince those who don't want it that they're in the wrong, because you can't, because people, as I've said, I've given you my reason on this video. What I would say is that from a Manchester United point of view, I think that, and I'm not talking about transfers here because this is a serious topic, and I'm just reacting to this bit of news. And obviously we've done the preview, and we'll do a transfer show at 8 o'clock, and you know, I'll do a video for you tomorrow about that as well. But on this, Manchester United, the United Stand is the biggest fan community in the world. Whether people like that or not, it is. Our door is open. We have never heard from Manchester United about this. I've spoken to other fan groups. They've not heard from Manchester United about this. I'm sorry. Speaking to the women's football team, most of them who won't be Man United fans, they're paid by Manchester United, is not a reflection of the general fan base. Manchester United Football Club in its history has been in touch with its fans for decades, over 100 years. And on such a serious topic, they've just decided to do an internal investigation led by Richard Arnold, and they're basically going to preach to us that this is their decision based on the facts. It is so wrong. We've seen, look, this happens in the UK with the government. They drop the ball on major issues, whether it's immigration, racism, whatever. Big, massive topics. They drop the ball and MPs get sacked. I think the way that Manchester United have handled this investigation is an absolute joke. Do they not understand the law? Do they not understand the court of fan opinion? The reality is they are trying to ram a decision down our throat for money. I've always said this, and you know, again, this is just my opinion. You don't have to agree with it. My opinion is, if this was a midfielder in the youth team that was going to end up at Preston anyway, he'd be long gone. This is about a player that they're scared of selling because he has a value. Because, and look, I'm going to say this right now. We've not heard from Ten Hag. I love Ten Hag as a manager. I think he's absolutely fantastic. But I'm telling you now, if Erik Ten Hag actually comes out and says that he wants Mason Greenwood back, then I'm completely against Ten Hag on that point. Doesn't mean I want him sacking, but morally, I don't give a shit. If Sir Alex Ferguson says he wants to have Mason Greenwood back, morally, I'm against it as well. So I think that you've got to, I mean, look, at the end of the day, you've just got to have your own opinion on it, haven't you? And I would always advise anybody to never be a sheep. You know, I always say about the United Stand, the great thing about it is that we don't always agree on everything. So, and that to me is something I want to cultivate always. People will disagree with me about this. I don't mind about that. People will agree with me about this. But the fact that I back Erik Ten Hag as a manager doesn't mean I back him if he wants Mason Greenwood back. Far from it. I absolutely oppose him because it's not something I want right here, right now. Who knows how I'll feel in 12 months as well. We can change our opinion on anything. And you know, who knows what the future's going to hold. But right here, right now, I think United have completely and utterly misread their fan base, and they're meant to respect and listen to it, not be a dictatorship that decides Ten Hag wants him because he needs a striker, Richard Arnold and the Glazers want to keep him because he's valuable. Morally, look, there are no morals in football, we know that, but there is morals in the fan base, and that's what we're talking about here. I don't give a shit if Man United have got no morals. In fact, you know, I think Man United are a very, very badly run club. But I have morals, you have morals, hopefully, and that's just all I've got to say on it. I'm not here to fall out with people. I think it's very sad that that is the case. But, you know, respect my opinion, respect the opinion of others. For me, no, I don't want this. And I've explained why. I think from what I've seen and what I've heard, I don't want that at Manchester United, I've got to be honest. And I would say to any player, any staff member involved in this, you know what I'd love? I'd love to see a press conference. I'd love to see a live press conference where fans or journalists who, to be fair, mostly in the main are asking these questions, can ask these questions, because it's just being swept under the carpet and handled badly. Anyway, get your comments in below. Let's try and be respectful. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I'll speak to you all in a bit.